On this episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, back again with another one on the Carolina Panthers. And today, we're talking about the top 11. Yeah, I couldn't narrow it down to 10. The top 11 all-time offensive tackles for the Carolina Panthers. First, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. It doesn't cost anything, folks. Help a brother out. Uncle Chuck would greatly appreciate it. Pound that like button, leave some comments, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified of future upcoming content, whether it be the Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, Charlotte Hornets, or other sports in the Carolinas. All right, folks, I got to look at, I know I did one on the offensive guards and the centers, and we did receivers, running backs, and we're kind of left looking at the offensive tackles in the Carolina Panthers history. And it's been pretty much a glowing need that we've needed to have. Probably do an upcoming video because one of the greatest weaknesses I see on this team is sitting there at left tackle. But you never know what will happen. But in looking at this, we've tried to address this position before and we've been burnt, whether it be through the draft or free agency. Number one, it's definitely going to take a lot to replace him off the list. So before I get started, there are two no-nos on this list. And when I say no-nos, when I think back at left tackle, even right tackle on this list, these are two guys that kind of leave you throwing up a little bit in your mouth and you kind of say, I really have bad memories of these guys. Number one would be Matt Kalil. His brother Ryan Kalil is definitely the greatest center, probably the greatest guard we've ever had. I say center guard, interior lineman we've had in this franchise history. Played a long career. His brother Matt, a few years younger, played at the same school, USC. He played for the Vikings, had a great rookie campaign, but he just never panned out when it come to just overall looking at what he was going to do for us for left tackle, since it was a glaring need when we had Cam Newton. He was a bust. We spent a lot of money on him, and it just never worked out. So that's a big X there. We're not going to even put him as an honorable mention or on this list. Number two, I'd say, is Mike Remmers. No, Mike Remmers did not cost us the money that Matt Kalil did, but even as he played tackle for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and Mahomes got blown up in the Super Bowl by Tampa Bay, Mike Remmers really stunk it up when he played for us, whether it been left tackle, and he played right tackle in Super Bowl 50 and just got eaten alive by Von Miller and gang. And somebody had bad memories with him. I think we should have put other people in the game instead of him, but we were 15-1 that year. We made it to the Super Bowl, just was outclassed in the Super Bowl. So he'll be a big X as well. Now, I do have two honorable mentions on the list. Number one is an upcoming guy that we drafted, I believe, in the 5th or 6th round from the University of South Carolina. As we talked about with our guards, we got an offensive tackle from South Carolina, Dennis Daley. Got him in the same draft of a guy we won't even bring up, which is Greg Little, because he hadn't played long enough. I'm only bringing up Dennis Daley because he's been here since 2019, really started a few games for us last year. Could be penciled in, honestly, as a left tackle this year. We'll have to see how it goes. But Dennis Daley, got to give him a shout out, because if he can keep improving, he can make up for the glaring weakness that was drafting Greg Little. Second honorable mention, I really thought about if I made this a 12-man list, he would have been on the list. He played 2 years from 1999, and he played year 2000 for us, was Clarence Jones. I throw him in as an honorable mention. Nothing for him really stood out. It wasn't really a weakness. I just have him down as honorable mention compared to the other guys. Now the list. The list at number 11. Number 11 I would have left off as honorable mention, but he played the 1 year for us and then changed. That was Michael Oheru from Ole Miss. Played for the Baltimore Ravens. If you remember the movie The Blind Side, he comes over from the Ravens, plays 2015, and we go 15-1. He protected Cam Newton very well all the way through the Super Bowl, really. Comes back in 2016, plays the first game against Denver where we lose. Gano missed a field goal as time expired. We won't get into that game. But then the second game against Minnesota, we were home. We lost. I believe he tripped over, fell over another guy, got a concussion. He never really came back and panned out and played again. Now, I'm not saying he didn't get in another game or two, just wasn't the same. And more or less, that second game in 2016 kind of was the closing of his career. But the one strong year he had, I have to put him at number 11 because of how good he was. Number 10, Darryl Williams, guy we drafted from Oklahoma. This is a guy I really wish, as bad as Remmers was struggling in the Super Bowl, we could have thrown him in. I don't know if it would have done any good. But Darryl Williams played some right tackle, even left tackle, signed a free agent contract, moved on to Buffalo. But he was a starter, played 3 years with us before moving on. But he was a starter in 2016 and 2017, and he did pretty good. I really wasn't upset with the way he played. I think he just wanted more money than what we were going to command to give him. Number 9, first round pick we had, Hurney drafted him in 2008. We traded up and he drafted number 19, I believe, to get him, was Jeff Otah from Pitt. We really were looking at the time we had our left tackle was addressed. We wanted a right tackle. Seemed like a very big move by Hurney, and the first couple of years, nobody could complain. 2008, 2009, especially I believe it was the 2008 season, his rookie year, we made it to the playoffs and had a great year at 12-4 and got upset by Arizona. He played well, but he had injuries after 2019. He was nicked up and hurt. And if you asked me the way he played, I was always hoping he'd come back. It just looked after the injuries he got after 2019. He made a little bit of money in those first rookie contract, and he just looked like he had lost the will to play. He didn't want to play anymore. But you have to really look at him and say, yeah, put him at number 9. Overall, it was a disappointment because we had spent a first-round draft pick on him, but he was better than what we had for many years for the Panthers. Those 2 years he gave us were pretty daggone good years by Jeff Otah. Number 8. Now, number 8's the one guy who made both lists. He was, I believe, number 4 on our interior offensive lineman, the guard out of South Carolina, Travelle Wharton. But people fail to realize a couple of years shuffling the lineup with injuries, Travelle Wharton played 2005 and 2007 at tackle. He not only played some right tackle, I believe he played a little bit of left tackle as well. And he held the fort down. He was a better guard than a tackle, but he still was better than what we had for most of our 20-some year history sticking out there at tackle. So we got to kind of put Travelle Wharton even on this list at number 8. Number 7. Number 7, a lot of people gave a lot of hell for and just felt that he didn't deserve. But he actually started 4 years for us. Kind of held down the fort for Cam Newton. But he was an undrafted free agent from the University of New Mexico, Byron Bell. He played from 2011 to 2014. Was really pretty, I wouldn't say he's instrumental, but he did hold down the starting lineup for a while there for us. Just never really was good enough to be a long-term starter. And did stink it up in a few games. But you're looking at a guy who was an undrafted free agent that started 4 years. So he really panned out more than what you would expect from a guy who wasn't drafted. Number 6, we're really going back in the time machine, looking at 3 years, 1996, or second year, 97 and 98, and that's Norbert David's Garrido. Yes, and his 96 year, he was instrumental in getting us to the NFC Championship game. He stabilized the offensive line for us. Can't complain about his play at all for what we got for him. Number 5. Number 5 is kind of an anomaly. He played with us for 5 years, in 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002. He actually played 4 years, I'm sorry. But he was the 5th best offensive tackle we had. His name was Chris Terry. He held the fort down. He was quiet. You didn't hear a lot from him. Unlike Byron Bell, he didn't stink it up. He just wasn't spectacular. He never really was as good as Travelle Wharton. He just had a longer stint at tackle. Number 4 was pretty daggone good for us. He played 3 years, 2001, 2002, 2003, and that was Todd Steussie. And I believe Todd Steussie played a majority of his career for the Minnesota Vikings. But he did a pretty good job, although we only had him for 3 years. Can't complain about his services for the Carolina Panthers. Number 3, The man we have right now is our right tackle. He's on a franchise tag. Taylor Moton. We drafted him, I believe, in the 3rd round out of Western Michigan. 2018. Started 2018 some, 2019, 2020. We've got him franchise tag now in 2021. Now, he can move up to second on this list. If he signs a long-term contract, and even it's only 3 or 4 years, but he starts those years and he plays as good as he has the last couple of years, who will by far move up to second place on the list. Now, for him to go to number 1, he's going to have to sign like a 5-year contract, and he's going to have to ball out. And then it's going to be close for him to be number 1. But like I said, if he comes back for 2 or 3 years and balls out, let's say he plays his franchise year and comes back and plays at least 2 or 3 more years and plays at the level he's played in the past, he's definitely going to be our second all-time. But right now, it's number 3, Taylor Moton. Number 2, going back and looking at our inaugural year, our 2nd round draft pick out of Texas, 1995 to 1998, he played for us, Blake Brockermeyer. He did not end up playing his whole career. He played his rookie contract. He played well. Like I said, he was good enough his rookie year. He started, did an admirable job for 4 years, and he just moved on to a bigger contract. I lost track of him from there. Never know if he panned out or how well he did, but he did move on from us. But still, Taylor Moton is probably a little bit better, but I'm giving a nod to Brockermeyer because he's played 1 more year, and we'll have to see what Moton does if he continues to improve and he stays longer with the Panthers, then he'll pass. And the number 1 offensive tackle all time for us. And it's not even close, folks. In fact, probably between him and Ryan Kalil is our best offensive lineman in our history. And that's from the University of Utah, our 2003 first-round draft pick, Jordan Gross. He was an 11-year starter, folks. 2003, 2013, did not miss but a few games, started every year, never saw the bench unless he got nicked up or injured, like I said. And I believe he would have played a couple more years, but Gettleman wanted him to take a contract cut. He reluctantly did so, and then he just retired. He had had enough. I think if Herney was still there, we had a different general manager, Jordan Gross would have played a couple more years at least, and probably would have been playing his last year on their Super Bowl run, and that would have been something. But Jordan Gross, all-time greatest offensive tackle, Carolina Panther history. So, folks, what do you think of today's video? If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit that like button, leave some comments, hit the bell notification to be notified for future content like today. And we'll see you next time on another edition of Carolina Sports Guy.